You feel lazy? You hit the snooze button? You think you lack willpower? Stop right there. The truth is, you are not lazy. You're just lost. You don't know where you're going, and until you clearly see your destination, every single step will feel like a fight. It's time to stop wandering. You know that feeling, right? That heavy, frustrating weight when you know exactly what you should be doing. Waking up early, going to the gym, eating the healthy meal, tackling that big project. But you just don't. You hit the snooze button. You order the takeout. You scroll instead of creating. And what's the first label we slap on ourselves when we fail to execute? Lazy. We internalize it. We tell ourselves, I'm just not disciplined enough. I'm not strong enough. There must be something wrong with me. We feel guilty. We beat ourselves up, and often, that just makes us retreat even further under the blankets, restarting the cycle of inaction and self-criticism. But here's the truth, and I want you to hear this clearly. You are not lazy. You are simply lost. Think about it like this. Imagine you're standing in a massive, beautiful, but completely unfamiliar city. You have high-tech gear, unlimited physical energy, and every resource you could ever need. But you don't have a map, you don't have a phone, and you don't have a destination. You just have point A, where you are right now. If someone asks you to start running as fast as you can, would you do it? Maybe for a few minutes, just to burn some energy, but eventually you'd stop. You'd ask yourself, what is all this effort for? Where am I going? What's the point of struggling if I don't know the destination? That is the exact psychological and spiritual state that leads to procrastination and inaction. When you are not intimately connected to a clear, compelling point B, a destination, a future version of yourself, then every step of the journey, every difficult action, every moment of discomfort becomes incredibly hard to justify. It just is. It's hard to wake up when it's cold outside and you're warm under the covers if the only reason to get up is a vague idea of being better. That voice in your head, the one that whispers, just stay in bed, wins easily because you can't present it with a compelling counterargument. You can't say, no, I have to get up, because getting up today is what builds the foundation of the person I will be in 1 year. If you don't have the vision, if you don't have the why, then why not listen to the voice that advocates for ease? Why not just eat the unhealthy thing? Why not just do what feels comfortable right now? The problem isn't a deficit of strength or willpower, it's a deficit of direction. We, as human beings, are fundamentally wired for purpose and direction. That's where we derive meaning. That's why we're able to find confidence in the small, grinding steps we take. That's why we're able to justify struggle and suffering. We endure the pain of training today because we have a vision of the stronger, healthier self we are building. We work late tonight because we have a vision of the successful, impactful venture we are creating. If you have a starting point, point A, and no endpoint, point B, then you have no direction. And when you are directionless, the brain sees difficult tasks, like exercise, focused work, or difficult conversations, as purely painful and pointless expenditures of energy. It is logical, from that perspective, to conserve energy. This conservation looks exactly like what we call laziness. But remember, you are not incapable. There is nothing fundamentally wrong with you. You have the full capability to do anything you set your mind to, provided you put in the necessary work. The missing link is simply the immersive future vision that connects today's struggle to tomorrow's reward. Right now, your future vision might feel like a distant fairy tale, something that people say you can have if you work hard, but you don't really feel it's possible for you. You haven't immersed yourself in it. You haven't felt it, smelled it, touched it, or tasted it. It exists only as a vague, abstract concept, and vague concepts don't generate the necessary internal fuel to beat the snooze button at 5 a.m. So the key isn't to try harder. It's to get unlost. It's to stop the self-victimization and the self-blame and recognize that this is just a simple equation. If you want direction, you must identify your destination. This entire journey starts by acknowledging the power of point B. We need to move beyond simply surviving point A and start constructing a future so compelling, so clear, and so aligned with who you truly are that the actions you take today become exciting and effortless, flowing like water toward that destination. You are not lazy. You are ready. You just need to find your compass. We've established that the reason you feel stuck isn't laziness. It's being a compassless wanderer. The next logical step is to stop wandering and start building your destination, point B. But this isn't about setting boring, generalized goals like make more money or be fit. This is about becoming an architect of the invisible, crafting a future vision that is so visceral, so clear, that it actually generates the emotional energy needed to fuel your daily grind. Most people fail at visualizing their future because they keep it abstract. They think of their future self like a cartoon character, flat, two-dimensional, and unrelatable. To make the vision work, it needs to be an immersive, high-definition 4D experience. You need to know the feeling of being that future person. So, how do we begin this architectural process? First, you have to acknowledge the critical importance of a deeper why. When you're lying in bed on a cold morning, your reason for getting up can't just be I should. It needs to be a connection to a bigger fuel source. That fuel source is the life you're actively trying to construct. If you're not fueled by anything, that inner voice of resistance has free rein. Your task now is to define this point B with radical specificity. This is the difference between saying I want a nicer house and knowing the exact floor plan, the scent of the wood, the view from the kitchen window, and the feeling of the morning sun hitting the specific chair where you'll drink your coffee. Think of it like this. If your current self is point A and your highest potential self is point B, we need to create a detailed blueprint of that best version. What does the future you do for a living? Don't just list a title. Describe the feeling of the work. Is it collaborative? Is it quiet focus? Is it solving complex problems? What is the atmosphere of your workspace? How does the future you carry themselves? What is their posture like? What is the energy they bring into a room? How do they speak? Confidently? Thoughtfully? Gently? What does the future you associate with? What kind of car are they driving? What kind of books are they reading? What does their wardrobe look like? This is important because every external choice, from clothing to music, resonates at a frequency that aligns with their internal identity. What is the future you's in Varennes? Where are they traveling for vacation? What does their kitchen look like? The people they spend time with. Are they ambitious, creative, supportive? When you can answer these questions, your point B stops being a distant fantasy and starts becoming a mental model that you can access and engage with right now. It is no longer just a goal, it is a felt reality. This is where the struggle against laziness gets its necessary justification. When you know exactly the kind of person you are building, the pain of the gym or the discipline of saving money is instantly translated into currency. You are no longer struggling. You are investing in the specific, detailed future you've designed. The hard work suddenly stops feeling like deprivation and starts feeling like alignment. You are making decisions right now. The choice to go for a run, the choice to say no to distracting invitations, that your future self would unequivocally make. This alignment creates internal coherence, purpose, and meaning. Without this crystal clear destination, you will inevitably drift back to being the compassless wanderer, easily swayed by the path of least resistance. But once you commit to being the architect, the struggle of today instantly makes sense. You have built a bridge from point A to point B, and every difficult action you take is simply you walking across it, transforming with every step. This detailed sensory immersion is what differentiates successful visualization from wishful thinking. The future needs to be so real that you can almost smell the coffee in your future home, feel the confidence in your future posture, and understand the impact of your future work. You have the capability to create this. You just need to dedicate the time to sit down and meticulously draw the map to your own true north. Now that you understand the power of a point B, you might be asking, how do I actually start building that future and uncovering that core identity? The vision is the first step, but action is the second. If you're ready to stop just dreaming and start doing the deep work of alignment, I've created a complete roadmap for you. Download my guide, 30 Days to a Better You. This guide gives you the daily exercises and reflection prompts to help you identify your true resonance and build the clear, compelling vision we talked about. Stop feeling lost and start your 30-day journey toward effortless action today. Find the link below. We've established the issue, the compassless wanderer, and defined the goal, architects of the invisible. But a detailed blueprint of point B is useless if it's built on the foundation of someone else's dreams. To make the future vision truly compelling, to make it the fuel that beats inertia, it must align with your deepest, most innate self. We now turn inward to enter the resonance chamber and uncover your unique identity. Think about the unique way you are created. You are not a blank slate. You are created with an identity, an energy, an essence. Something boundless and divine that is fundamentally you. This core identity has its own DNA. It resonates at a unique frequency, like a musical note only you can perfectly play. If the purpose of life is to pursue your full capability in mind, body, and spirit, viewing it as watering your own plant, then what your fully bloomed flower looks like will be different than anyone else's. That difference is the result of your unique identity, your unique frequency. The question then becomes, where do you get the why and the ultimate vision from this? You get it by first understanding your frequency, your identity. And the only way to do that is by dedicating time to spend with yourself. This is where many modern self-help narratives fall short. They give you external strategies. Make a better to-do list. Use this productivity app. But the real, deep solution requires turning inward, not just rearranging your external world. You need to step into your own resonance chamber. This isn't complicated, but it is profound. It means spending dedicated time with yourself, with no distractions, no light, no sound, no screens, no external forces. Dedicate 20 to 30 minutes of your day to pure silence. Sit comfortably in the dark. The goal is to shift all of your energy and focus within. What happens naturally in this state is a form of sensory deprivation. You are literally depriving your mind of external input. When your mind has nothing external to grasp onto, your mental focus, your consciousness, has only one place to go: inward. In our hyper-connected world, most of us are completely unused to this state. It seems simple, almost innocent, but it has a massive weight and depth to it. Imagine your mind going throughout the day as a hamster wheel of thought, running on autopilot, churning with noise and external input. When you enter this state of sensory deprivation, the fuel, the momentum that keeps this thought wheel moving, begins to stop. Eventually, the wheel slows to a standstill. Now, you find yourself in a special place. A state of being that is quiet, still, and grounded. The mental dust, all the noise, the clutter, the fleeting worries, starts to settle. And what remains? That is you. I cannot tell you exactly what that will be like in words because it's not meant to be described in words. We are beings that feel. The truth we know most intimately as humans is the truth that is felt, not intellectually described. If you want to know who you are, you have to feel. As the noise fades, you are left with this essence, this energy that you feel deeply. If you spend time there consistently, you will slowly become aligned with it, and your connection to it will get stronger. This feeling is your unique resonance. The better you understand and immerse yourself within this core identity, the better you will be able to look out into the external world and confidently identify things that resonate at the same frequency. Think of all your external choices. The clothes you wear, the music you listen to, the people you choose to spend time with, the career path you pursue. The reason you make these choices is because you instinctively feel they align with you. You are taking your internal energy, your identity, and aligning it with an external energy, the choice, the vibe. The better you understand your internal frequency, the more confidently, quickly, and powerfully you can make decisions in the real world. This is the bedrock of the entire journey. You cannot build a powerful, sustainable point B until you know the true nature of your point A, the unparalleled, innate identity lying beneath the noise. Start listening to the silence, and your why will reveal itself. We have completed the crucial inner work, shedding the label of the compassless wanderer, starting the draft for point B, and tuning into our unique core frequency within the resonance chamber. Now comes the powerful step of connecting these threads. Taking that innate identity you've uncovered and using it as the identity blueprint to complete and energize your future vision. How do we take this deep, internal, vibrational truth and translate it into a tangible, motivating roadmap for our external life? We can understand this process perfectly by looking at one of the most successful concepts in the physical world, brand identity. Think about companies like Nike. When you hear the name, you don't just think of sneakers. You experience a feeling, a conglomerate of energy. That brand identity is created by 100 little things. The mission, the vision, the aesthetic, the advertising, the design of the stores, the apparel, and the overall vibe they put out. It's not just one of these things. It's the cohesive, felt experience of all of them together. Because we know Nike's brand identity so well, we can plug it into a completely unrelated industry. Nike has never made a hotel, but because you understand the energy. The bold, performance-driven, streamlined, aspirational feeling of Nike. You could accurately envision what a Nike hotel would look like. You could imagine the lobby design, the type of art on the walls, the scent in the air, and the specific amenities. Now, take a radically different brand, like a classic luxury cigar brand, known for tradition, ruggedness, and timeless quality. If they made a hotel, it would look drastically different from Nike's. Maybe dark leather, rich mahogany, and a quiet old-world aesthetic. You can make this distinction instantly because you are reacting to the underlying identity of the brand, not just the physical product. This is exactly how you must approach your future. If you know your identity, the unique resonance, the vibe, the energy you feel deep within you after your time in the resonance chamber, then you can use that as your personal identity blueprint and plug it into your future life. You can look into your future point B and stop guessing about what you should want. Instead, you can determine what your fully aligned future self would do. The look and feel. How does the future version of you, aligned with your true energy, dress? What kind of environments do they live in? If your core energy is minimalist and focused, your future home will look radically different than if your core energy is expansive and creative. The association, type of people, the type of conversations, the hobbies, the places, everything in your life must now align with your frequency. You can instantly identify connections that resonate with your blueprint and those that drain your energy. The decisions, you can now confidently choose the right career path, the right risks to take, and the right investments to make because you filter every decision through the lens of your innate identity. If a path contradicts your energy, you dismiss it immediately, regardless of what society tells you to pursue. This process is not about changing your identity. Your innate identity is unchangeable and eternal. It is about aligning your external reality with your internal truth. When you re-enter your moments of stillness and self-reflection, you are not just sitting in the dark. You are actively doing two things: feeling the immutable identity, anchoring yourself in the truth of who you are right now, point A's true nature. Envisioning the aligned future, overlaying that identity blueprint onto your future. Feeling the clothes, smelling the air, experiencing the confidence of that aligned self, point B, that feeling. That palpable, undeniable connection between the true self you feel today and the powerful future you envision. Is your point A to point B connection? This connection is what generates confidence. It's what transforms discipline into desire. When you feel this alignment, the things you know you should be doing suddenly become enticing. They become exciting. They become easy, flowing like water. You are no longer fighting yourself. You are simply taking the next obvious step toward embodying the identity blueprint you have already confirmed. You strip away the power of that resistant inner voice because you now have an undeniable, felt truth to stand on. We've done the deep work. We've replaced the burden of feeling like a compassless wanderer with the clarity of a deeply aligned vision. We've used the stillness of the resonance chamber to extract our unique identity blueprint, and we've successfully plugged our true self into our future point B. Now, what happens when this alignment is complete? The final, transformative phase is reaching the flow state, effortless action. This is where the struggle ends, and progress becomes inevitable. Before this work, you were living in a constant state of internal friction. Your current actions, point A, were misaligned with your vague aspirations. Every time the alarm went off, you experienced a mini spiritual war. Your conscious mind knew the difficult thing you should do, but your spirit had no compelling reason, no deeply felt purpose, to overcome the resistance. That resistance was fueled by the gap between a meaningless point A and an unfelt point B. Once you are anchored in your identity blueprint, that friction disappears. Why? Because the actions you need to take on a day-to-day basis, the discipline, the discomfort, the effort, are no longer just hard things. They are now the immediate, tangible expression of your true future self. Think of it this way: before alignment, going to the gym felt like a punishment. It was a chore imposed by some external standard of health that didn't feel like yours. After alignment, going to the gym is now a natural act of self-expression. It is an unavoidable step toward embodying the confident, energetic, disciplined future version of yourself that you have already felt and confirmed. You aren't forcing yourself to be someone you aren't. You are simply stepping into the person you know you are meant to be. The difficult things suddenly become enticing. They become exciting. They become easy. They flow like water. This is the key distinction. You are no longer relying on brute force willpower, which is a finite resource. You are relying on purpose-driven desire, which is an infinite source of fuel. With every single action, you are bridging the gap from your point A to your point B. Every time you make a conscious, difficult decision, choosing to read a challenging book instead of watching TV, choosing to stick to a tough budget, choosing to create instead of consume, you are literally feeling yourself embodying your true self. You are aligning your present self with your future state. Imagine the feeling of confidence that arises from knowing, without a shadow of a doubt, that every single step you take is heading toward your destined endpoint. You become unstoppable, that persistent voice of resistance, the one that justifies staying small and staying comfortable, suddenly loses its power. What can it possibly stand on? When you have an undeniable, felt reason for action, the voice of ease becomes pitiful, easily brushed aside. The great secret of success isn't suffering, it's alignment. When your actions align with your identity, the need for motivation evaporates, replaced by momentum. The internal argument is over, and you simply move. This momentum transforms your life at a pace that you may not have thought possible. You started out lost, confused, and feeling guilty. You now finish this journey confident in where you are going, confident in the decisions you are making, and fully aligned with the person you are becoming. The moral of the story remains. You are not lazy, you were just lost. But now you have the map. You have the compass. You have the fuel. Go, my friend, and let the difficult become effortless. You've earned the flow.